Conspiracy Take the Crown brought us a whole lot of new and awesome cards to play with in Commander, one of them being Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. I really like her design and thought, hey, let's make a deck with her as a commander. So here's my take on a deck you could be building using Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. First off, mana ramp. Selvala, Heart of the Wilds has an amazing ability to create a lot of mana very quickly. The thing you will be doing with this deck mainly is mana ramping. I've decided to leave out most 1 mana dorks for other ramp cards with slightly higher mana cost due to the slower nature of Commander, and most of these allow you to gain more than 1 mana at a time, which makes them superior to those 1 mana dorks. The 16 mana ramp cards that I've picked out for this deck are as follows. Sol Ring, which is basically a staple in the Commander format, Sakura Tribe Elder, Kodama's Reach, Wood Elves, Yavimaya Elder, Burnished Heart, Skyscroud Claim, Solemn Simulacrum, and Boundless Realm all let you search for forest and either place them in your hand or directly onto the battlefield. In addition to that, Devoted Druid, Gyre Sage, and Viridian Joiner can tap for multiple green mana, while Gauntlet of Power, Mana Reflection, Caged Sun, and Seneca Resurgent give you more mana from tapping forests, and sometimes also from tapping other creatures. With all these cards in the deck, you should be able to gain a very high amount of mana within a couple of turns. But that's not all. There are an additional 3 cards that help you gain even more mana in the later stages of the game. 1000 Year Elixir allows you to immediately start tapping your commander for mana, and for 1 extra generic mana, you can untap Selvala to do it another time. Umbral Mantle is one of those 2 combinations you have for infinite mana. It does take quite a bit of mana to start off the combo, but as soon as you have it, you can cast practically anything without worry. Without any other creatures on the battlefield, Selvala will tap herself for 1 green, and you'll gain 2 mana of any color back. By adding an additional mana from your lands, you can untap Selvala and give her +2/+2 until the end of turn. When you tap Selvala again for 1 green, you'll gain 4 mana this time, and from that point on, you can keep tapping and untapping Selvala for more and more mana. The same thing can be done with Staff of Domination, however this requires you to have another big creature due to Selvala's lack of power. Now you might wonder what you need all that mana for, and there are a couple of reasons for it. The first one is that if an enemy is undefended, you can basically just tap and untap Selvala using Umbral Mantle over and over to get her up to lethal damage and then basically just attack. The other one is that you can use all that mana to cast some of the most powerful green creatures available. In this case, we'll be using Hydras. This deck plays a grand total of 10 creatures that benefit from high or infinite mana ramp. 8 of them are Hydras, the other 2 are Hanger Backwalker and Omnath Locus of Mana. These creatures allow you to swing for high damage or help Selvala create even more mana, which in turn allows you to play bigger Hydras, etc. A deck of course isn't complete without additional support to help it flourish, and these are what I call support or utility cards, and they help you in various ways. Eternal Witness, Green Warden of Murasa, Artisan of Kozilek, and Praetor's Council help you get cards from your graveyard back to your hand or the battlefield, while Steel Hellkite, Bane of Progress, Terrastodon, and both Ulamogs will help you get rid of annoying threats to your deck. Green Sun Zenith, Natural Order, Woodland Bellower, Genesis Wave, and Chord of Calling all help you get more creatures onto the battlefield quickly. With Genesis Wave, you're actually very likely to just win outright if they cannot stop the spell. For card draw, we have Greater Good, Momentous Fall, Garruk Primal Hunter, Regal Force, and one of the Hydras, Lifeblood Hydra. Be warned though that using these cards with creatures that have really high power or toughness can put you at risk of drawing your entire deck and milling out. I've also added some cards that I can only describe as miscellaneous cards. These cards are just generally regarded as good, but can be switched out for other cards depending on the meta of your playgroup. These cards are Nylea, God of the Hunt, Yeva, Nature's Herald, Asceticism, Seedborn Muse, Freyalise, Llanowar's Fury, Nissa Worldwaker, Archetype of Endurance, Lightning Greaves, and Swiftfoot Boots. All of those cards are interchangeable depending on your own meta, and you can basically decide to run those or run anything else that fits your playgroup the best. We also have a couple of alternative win conditions. These can be switched out as well if you do not like the style of their play. These cards are Helix Pinnacle, Hurricane, Squall Line, and Borrowing the East Wind. The way they work speaks for itself. You either get a ton of mana and use Helix Pinnacle for an easy win, or when your life total is higher than your opponent's, you basically just blow them up with the large amount of mana you can create, in combination with Hurricane, Squall Line, or borrowing the East Wind. Finally, the land base is very simple and consists out of 30 basic forests, a reliquary tower to ensure that you don't have to discard all the cards you draw, a Wirewood Lodge for an additional method to untap Selvala, Rogue's Passage, which allows you to get lethal damage through on an opponent when they have a lot of blockers available, Mossword Bridge, which allows you to put another creature into play for 1 mana when the situation allows for it, and Nykthos for additional mana ramp. Now, of course, this is just a very short guide and my take on what I would do with Selvala. Depending on the meta of your playgroup and power level, a lot of things can be changed. I've decided to leave out a couple of cards due to them being either too strong or too expensive. And of course, if you have these in your possession, you can definitely switch some cards out and put those in. A couple of suggestions I have are either using Vorigenklex, Voice of Hunger, Avengers of Zendikar, Sylvan Library, and Defense of the Hearth. Now, this all might have gone a little bit too fast for you to follow, so I'll add a link in the description where you can view the deck. This is of course just my take of what I would build using Selvala as a commander. What do you think of it? Also, which commander should I make the next video about? Because I plan to make more of these, of course, if I have the time. Let me know in the comments below, and if you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And that was it for now.